Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are here once again on my lovely board, bringing you quite a few games today, actually. It's been a while since we've gone over a real board game, I have to say. So you know what? There's quite a few to go over. This one, as you can see in the upper left and upper right corners, we've got an amateur versus an 8-dan professional, so that's always really cool. Yeah, so as you can see, we've got an amateur versus a professional. You know me, I'm always a sucker for amateur versus professional games, so we are going to go over one of those now. So, game begins with Natalia taking the upper right 3-4 stone. And you would expect from here that maybe white would open in the upper left-hand corner to invite all the things. But no, white says, I will not invite all of the things. I'm going to play in the lower left-hand corner. No diagonals today there, por favor. This game was played very recently, by the way. Black takes dual 3-4 points. Now, when I see dual 3-4 points nowadays, I get rather interested, because to me that's kind of sending a message nowadays, given that we all know that the 3-3s are probably going to be invaded if you take a 4-4 point. Whenever I see dual 3-4s now, that's kind of telling me someone maybe doesn't like the new variations, potentially. It's an interesting thing. Guess you could try to invade the 3-3 under the 3-4. I mean, you could give it a shot, but it's not something we do right now. Seems a mite little crazy. Instead, black correctly identifies the largest portion of the board, which is the area between these two stones, and says, I approach you. Have at thee, sir. Except that's not really a sir, is it? White approaches, thus saying no to a couple of things. No to Chinese. No to micro-Chinese. No to enclosures. That's a lot of no's. But that's okay. I'm going to go and approach and just say no to all of that. Black says, I do not care. I will approach yet again. What will you do now? Well, the attachment here is fairly straightforward. We could potentially build a wall towards what we're potentially developing with this approach stone. It makes a lot of sense. Black says, I will hane. Just making some shapies. Very common shapies. And into the corner. Now here's where a lot of amateurs make a teeny tiny little oopsie daisy. Very teeny tiny oopsie daisy. Because you could say, well, I'm blocking here because like we're trying to do things up there. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to block here, right? Makes perfect sense. Because that way we're really doubling down on this area. Only problem here is that's a really, really large corner to give up. Not only is that corner given up, it's given up and your opponent is out and your opponent is rising to the fourth line while you're getting a wall and we don't even know really what it's doing right now. So this block is a little too much. So that's an oopsie daisy you don't really want to play in your game. So we play this one. We just block it. And black connects. And white plays the old Atari. Now, the good thing about this variation... Alright, so sorry about the autofocus there, ladies and gentlepeople. I have fixed it. I have slayed the beast. Never fear. So this is pretty nice because we can go and approach here later on, which is just fantastic. It's got that wonderful little throw in later on. So that's all nice and cool. For now, though, black approaches. And white says, that is fine, I will back off like so. And we're kind of doing that because we're going to try and develop. Now this, to me, is a bold move. It's a bold move because I don't usually see Mr. Kobayashi Pants here in professional play nowadays. So choosing to play Kobayashi against a professional, it strikes me as interesting. It strikes me as interesting. I personally would have rather followed up this now that you had Sente. But, meh, it's just me. Whatever. White says, well, that's cool, but whereas we would have back in the day, and I confess I still do it, played two-space, high or low, in response to the Kobayashi. Nowadays, we're approaching directly high, because the AI is not really into the two-space approach, like ever. I don't think I've ever seen a game that Leela has gone over where an AI has ever recommended a two-space approach. Like I just don't recall a scenario where that was a suggestion. So we are playing here. This one's kind of interesting. It used to be that this one was very much the way to play. Because if your opponent kept jumping out like this, you've got that amazing poke here. Like so. Into a back off. And that was pretty strong. That was pretty strong. This was one of the classic reasons why we didn't use this move. We didn't approach with a one space. That one, and then there was also just this simple little guy, right? Attach here, build up. Another really, really easy reason why we don't do this, but you know, there are ways to handle both of this. This one's a little bit easier to handle because there are multiple invasion points. And the AI has their own opinion on whether or not this is good or not. But I'm not going to go over all the variations with this one. You can look them up if you are that interested. Right now we are playing here, however, for black. This one's actually kind of interesting because it does allow this one, which I've never really liked, if I'm being honest. Never liked it for black. Because if we played the Kobayashi to kind of grow, it always felt a little weird that we're probably just like not going to be able to do that, right? We might just kind of like fall under attack here. And now these two stones feel a little strange. But that's cool. So, in this game, white plays Zihane. And then black plays a very unusual move. Dropping down here for max territory. Very, very unusual. Usually we see this one. This is a little bit greedier in some respects. But we'll see what white wants to do, or what black wants to do with it. Now, here is where things get complicated. White pushes down. Black has to back off. And now, one common mistake made here is to like try to Hane, because you're going to get countercut. And then from here, white's position kind of just goes really, really bad. So clearly, white doesn't do that and takes a very, very simple approach to this. Just plays an easy little shape move. Black has to play here again, because now that the cutting has been defended, we do not want to give our opponent the ability to play this one. This would be super, super, mega, uber bad. Right? Because what are you going to do from here? Hane and extend? That ain't so good, right? That ain't so good. So, okay, we're not going to do that. So black plays here. It should be noted that there are currently an invasion point here, and there is an invasion point here. So even if white protects one, or black protects one of them, chances are white's going to get the other one, which means this area is not something we absolutely have to reduce right now, right? Super duper omega duper bad. Could be, yes, could be. Could be. So the question for you, fine folks, is if this is not what is important on this board, then where do we play next? Where do we play next? White's move. What do we do? How do we determine what to do with the Sente? Pincer or protect? Those are pincer. Wait, white's gonna pincer something? What's white gonna pincer? I'm confused. It's white's move, Kuroshiro. What were you gonna pincer? Top right, big move, top right. Top middle. Ooh, I want to talk about that one. SJC64, I am calling you out. You said top middle. So when I hear a move like top middle, I'm hearing you want to play something like this one, which is about as passive a move as you could possibly play on this board. Because that's going to allow black potentially to play this one, the normal Jiseki, where, you know, we pull back and maybe play here right now, whereas black's just gonna, or white's just gonna get like these two stones in with still an invasion point here. I'm not sure if that's a very good use of Sente. This feels a little bit slow. It feels a little bit slow. Good suggestion though. I like that you suggested it, but it feels a mite slow. You are ashamed. No. It's good that you made the suggestion, because there's a good chance either someone watching right now or someone on YouTube probably had the exact same thought. And thus it was answered. Feel the shame. Look, you can feel as ashamed as you want, but look on the bright side. You don't play like Kuroshiro, so you're fine. Don't worry. Anyway, moving on. A lot of you got the right idea. Just kidding, Kuroshiro, you're good. So, yeah, following up what our opponent has not responded to is a good way to use Sente. I did something. My opponent said, I don't care. And now we just have Sente to follow it up. It's good. It's a good move. It's excellent, in fact. If there isn't a good follow-up on that move, that, especially this early in the game, that's kind of like saying, you know, I shouldn't have approached in the first place. There were larger things my opponent was right to ignore. It's still not worth enough to go back and follow it up. And so at that point, it's just like, my move kind of sucked. And that move doesn't suck. That's an approach. It's fine. Yeah, follow it up. It's good. It's good, it's good, it's good, it's good, it's good. Black respond. White respond. And of course, we get that 2-space extension. I don't think anybody plays this way anymore, besides people maybe on, I don't know, IGS, something like that, maybe? PandaNet? We don't usually play this one because it leaves a lot of things you can do. You could come out and then extend back. You could go after the shapey point. And then we've got ourselves like some kind of fight here. Avoiding all of that was do a 2-space. Nice and simple, easy as you pleasey. However, there's one downside to playing this way. A lot of times white will go back and get an extension here. But with this still open, we don't really have to, right? We can extend, sure. That's a thing we can do. But we could also just live. It's not with a lot of points, but we can live. So it's all good, right? So white says, I invade you. And black says, okay. Classic response. Black says, I like my territory, go away. And we can kind of see why black says that. Let's say, sake of argument, black said, I want the middle. And I don't care what you do. Well, then we get this result, right? Where this is the area of territory that black's developing, these 3 little lines. It's not very good. And this is also one of the main dangers with the Kobayashi formation, is that it's easy to reduce this into something we didn't want to defend anyway. Because like if you can keep imagining things here, right? Like, this is now the area that we got with that formation? Really? This tiny little thing? This is what we wanted this framework for? Come on, no. No. So then we have the other idea of playing this one, right? So, does everyone know the danger of playing this one? When we block this side, we're pretty much saying RIP to our territory. What happens when we say that when we're played this way? What are we saying? What statement is black making by playing this one? Because you are making a decision with your moves. Your moves are saying something. If you can listen to them, they can tell you what you're doing. And for those who are able to hear properly, this move says, I'm giving influence to my opponent. Right? This one says, if you want, you're making a decision. Decision 1, I want the outside, influence, you get the inside, territory. Decision number 2, I want the inside, territory, you get the outside, influence. Right? Now, there are some ladders involved when you play this way. Ba-dum. That right there is clearly not a ladder, it's just an Atari. But now we find ourselves at a little bit of a crossroads. Because black does not have this ladder. So black plays there. And white's like, too little, too late, my friend. And now we're feeling bad. So made a very, very bold decision with this stone. Because the other way looked like we were just going to go into a losing game, right? Black on the other side. So made a bold decision with this play. But we weren't set up for it. We weren't set up for it. And now white is happily punishing black for having too little, too late. Atari. And take. That right there hurts. That right there hurts. You put in a ladder breaker. White called BS. And you didn't even take. You didn't follow up with the ladder. Owie. Now white just got all the things. White just got all the things. So, okay. Time to settle. And white's like, you know what? I recognize a good board position when I see one. You want to live in my corner, lady? You can live in my corner. Boom. Not gonna care. Live in that corner. Enjoy every territory in that corner. So, like so. We got black living, right? Black will live here. Black is a living. Just like so. Nice and easy peasy. Now, who can tell me where the next big move is? Who can tell me where the next big move is? D11? D11. Give me a second to find where D11 is. D11's over there. An interesting idea. F11, an interesting idea. I'll give you a hint. The move you are looking for is Gote, but the move is not a small move. It is a big move for these reasons. Reason number 1, it takes a forcing move away from our opponent. Reason number 2, it makes something really, really big. Reason number 3, it's very, very consistent to what's going on the board. Has anyone found it yet? And the answer, looking at chat, is no. Nope, 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 and nope. There you go. Nice and simple. Look at how simple that is. We are threatening to grow. We're using the influence. And keep in mind, now here's the thing. I have a student, okay? Not going to say who the student's name is. Not going to say his name. But if you're watching this video and you think I'm referring to you, yeah, I'm referring to you. They will look at this and they say, this has no value because black's going to live in there. Black's going to live in that area. But here's the thing. This is the hard part to teach some people sometimes. This is a very difficult part to teach some people sometimes. What territory is on the board right now? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we got about 20 points here for black, right? And then 1, 2, 3, I'll call it 8 points here for black. And then we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, let's say 10, 12. Not that many points, right? Like, let's say we get something as simple as this. Just this. We use all of these stones to get this. Well, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm going to round it to 15. That might be 15 points right there. With Comey, that equals this. That equals this already, right? And there's still the top over there. There's still extensions. If we grow this, this is going to be worth something. There's extensions over here. Like, you don't need all of this as territory. Even if you make just that, just this, in a low territorial game, you're doing well. Because you remember, your opponent doesn't have that much. It's third line, it's second line, and it can be surrounded. Right? So don't freak out. Don't freak out. No freaking out. Black follows up. White grabs corner. Or not corner, extension from corner. There we go. And now we have to make the decision that we didn't really want to make. That middle has to be reduced. So how the crap do we reduce it? Where do we start? Where do we even start? The number of good moves that white has, oh my god, they're everywhere. Let's just highlight some of the good moves that white has. This threatens to push and cut through. This is simply trying to expand all the things. And that threatens to keep everybody out. So right now it looks like there are 3 really good moves on the board right now for white. This one, and this one. There is no singular move that black can play that can take away all of the good moves from white. So we're going to start with the stones that we already have. Anyone who says, what is this? F8. Pat yourself on the back. That's where we begin. And white simply says, okay. Because remember, this is still God tier. If black gives us a wall in the middle right now, and we get to play this move, imagine how amazing that is. That is so good. Oof. I hate to say it right now, but white isn't doing anything complicated. Not really. I mean, white knew a Jiseki because a ladder and then played, right? But beyond that, white's commanding position stems from one thing and one thing only. Direction of play. Very, very strong direction gives us this board. Black says, I'm going to live. And to be fair, white does say, okay, prove it. Picks up a couple of points. Keeps this unsettled. You could play here, but now you're all in on this area. Because this will just live immediately. And then the struggle is pretty much over. Here, we're gonna keep the fight alive, yo. Black says, I want shapy shapies. White's like, okay. Black gets shape. And Atari. Now, obviously, we can't connect that, so it's time to skedaddle. And this is what I was referring to, right? Like, you can see here, we're picking up profit from white because we didn't just go all in on the middle. We played the move to keep black kind of like unsettled. That was the value of this one. And now we have to run still. So if we want to do things like maybe chase it for a turn and then go back and build, we can see that that's something that we could absolutely do, right? That's something that's absolutely playable. And it's because we poked at the shapy. Who wouldn't go all in with pocket aces? That's a good question. I think that is a bad question to ask Lost Jack. Lost Jack asks, instead of the cap, what would be the most severe move for white if white wanted to kill? See, the thing is, right there, you should not want to kill. I mean, that is actually the long and short of that one. You shouldn't want to kill this because the board is still open. And because the board is still open, white shouldn't expect black to die, right? So the board would have to be completely different in order for that to even begin to occur. By the way, maybe I haven't mentioned it. I'm sorry if I didn't. White is female, not male. White is female player, and so is black. So female versus female, amateur versus professional. Game's what we're looking at right now. In Lost Jack's defense, he's seen plenty of your games. But I'm not a professional 8-dan. Yet. Anywho. So, we got a runner. Connection denied. And we got a response. Now we play big move. What black has to figure out what to do. All we can do is just run. Well, the Hane ends the attack. So we extend. Black has to continue running because you don't want these Hane to occur because now we're getting, ooh, yeah. Right? So, still running. Can I invade you? Asks White. Not on your life, says Black. And now we're picking up points again. Because remember, low territorial count game. So we're picking up some profits. We're picking up some profits. And we can still attack in the middle. Remembering to profit while you are attacking is super, 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 super good. Okay? Never forget. Most professionals are keenly aware of what it takes to live, so death mostly occurs in trade sacrifices. Yeah, not even professionals. High-down amateurs are usually aware of that too. If you attack something and all that thing has to do is live, it's going to live. It's only when you're keeping your opponent too busy to worry about their life can you actually make them succumb to death. So, here we go. Just going to deny connection over here, see what happens. Black says, forcing move. And White says, go fish. And Black says, forcing move. And White says, go fish. Now these moves, oh, they're so brazen. I love them. I love these moves so much. Like exactly what Starduck just said. Exactly what Starduck just said. Exactly what we were just talking about. If a group only needs to live, it'll usually live. But here, we've got two that are trying to live. And you can only defend one at a time. So, okay. Sacrificing some territory here. But we're getting that surround game on. Our surround game's pretty strong. Surroundy, surroundy. Making sure we're just gonna be alive. Do-do-do-do-do. And Black says, this will be an easy connection. And White says, this will be an easy connection. Twice in a row. Played the elephant eye. And White is just all over it both times. This is why you must pay attention to your shape, young ones. This is why. This is why. So, alright. We block. Atari. And try to hold. But who is correct here? Who is correct here? That is the question. Well, White says, can you really do that? There are so many things happening here, I can't even count them all. And Black says it's okay. I will Atari you. And White says, okay, I will take my top back. Because you can see the back and forth here, right? White is just asking questions constantly, like, do you want this to live? Do you want that to live? Does this have shape? Is this connected? Like, what are you doing here? And Black's finally answered, I'm living in the middle of the board. Okay, excellent. That means the top died because Black was way too busy to invade the top and live in the center of the board at the same time. Couldn't do both at once. Atari. And we're going to go ahead and take. And fall on back. Make sure they can't connect up. Threaten to kill off 2 stones. Black comes out into the middle. And White says it's time to grow the other side. Black says, nope, you can't do that. That's way too many points. Makes sense, makes sense. But that means this is just going to shrink. Going to shrink to little more than a living group. Little more than a living group. Like so. Now you have to live in the corner. It's funny when you are strong somewhere on the board, you can always get profit somewhere eventually. Yeah, unless you make mistakes, strength should help in some fashion. Unless you miss your opportunity. That's always a possibility. Or always a reality in like most of my games. Alright, so we have Sensei now. Sorry, I dropped stone. Now we're just going to go ahead and push this back like so. White says, or Black says, no. I am killing this 1 stone and maintaining connection to the side. White's like, okay, do it. There you go. So we got connection there like that. Oh, wait. Oh, sorry. No, we don't. My bad. That would be Gote. That'd be Gote. We have to drop down and protect. My bad. Which means we get to take. There we go. And we're connected on up. So we're just taking a few more points. Such a very, very patient play. Black's just like not able to do enough. And she's constantly having to go and figure out how to reduce something else next. And a lot of it's because there's just not a lot of territory on the board for Black. I mean, look at this. This is still not worth very much. This is the largest source of territory, but it's already been equaled. That's just second line. That's reducible still. Ah, painful. Very, very painful. So here we do the same thing. We just punch White, or White just punches Black down onto the second line. Punch, punch, punch. Punch, punch, punch. And the first line, punch, punch, punch. Now that move right there is painful. Because that means this one means this is not worth any points. And then neither is that one. Painful moves. Painful moves. Connects. Painful, painful, painful. And what's really unfortunate right now is it looks like this one's even Sente. Like, black plays here first. But it's still Sente, otherwise these stones are dead, because we can Atari, dead. So we have to connect now, but then they're still dead. Because of, like, all these pushes and stuff. It's, ha 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 ha. Painful, painful, painful. So White's just like, I'm out. I'm done. I resign. That hurts. S14 is there? Where's S14? No, sorry. But it doesn't matter because push. We still push through. Right? Like, black's next move has to be here. And even then, that's horrifyingly Gote. So we're just going to be like, taking more points now, or something. Nope, black resigned. Black played here, white played here, and then black resigned. Because there's just too much, and there's nothing we could do. We know that white's going to have all the endgame, right? With, like, this. We know white's going to have the endgame with this. We know, since all of that is Sente, white's going to have the endgame here. White's going to have the endgame here. White has the endgame here. White has the endgame here. So not only are we down in points, we see ways for white to get more. And it looks like white also has all of the endgame. B16 is not a white endgame, though. It's a black endgame. What's B16? B16, doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doo. What do you mean, B16? This is absolutely a white endgame. Black dies if black ignores this. This is dead. So you play it in order of Sente. This push, not necessarily Sente. So all you're going to do is jump one. These are threatening to kill. These are threatening to kill. This is threatening to kill. Could black attack the white? Oh, you mean here? No. No. Even if you Atari and Atari again, we're still out. And even then, that's also a good point. Tengen is just building off territory, isn't it? Because we've got, like, this area still. Or even just, like, trying to build, like, here into, like, here something to maximize that. There's just too many points everywhere. And they're, like, all good for white. We have, like, nothing for black. So, yeah. Black resigned. Great direction. Great direction of play game. This is the second time I've looked over one of Natalia's games. So, I do like them. Great direction of play lesson, in my opinion. Absolutely loved.